tax, one of the solutions that none of our congressmen apparently have heard about. Another great way, another great solution. Jim Tomasic.
Hi there. I'm Jim Tomasic. Hey, my son did show up. Good. Why are y'all here? What about saying yes to something? Say yes to fair tax. Yeah, that's what I want to hear. That's the first loudest crowd I've ever heard yell out for fair tax in the city of Memphis. Yeah, yeah, no taxes is better, but until we can get to that point, I'll take a fair tax. We have a government that is going to take $1 trillion from our children, and that's a Democrat socialist running that train. Just kidding, just kidding. Let him have his minute. Well, anyway, we have a government that wants $1 trillion to take away from our children's futures to fix the economy now. Well, we've had something going on now for a couple of years, well, several years, and it's just now catching steam. But this, if we did it right now, we wouldn't even need a tea party. We could all just quit and go home. The fair tax does away with something called the corporate tax and capital gains tax. It replaces our tax code and the IRS with a consumption tax. It totally untaxes the way our productivity. If we were to do this, we would unleash approximately $13 to $17 trillion being held offshore. That's not being, if you had a spare $1 trillion laying around and you had it invested overseas, would you be wanting to bring it back into the United States when the socialist tax code will take a third of it? I mean, that's only $333 billion. The IRS collected total today, they project to collect about $480 billion. So that's almost, in that $1 trillion, enough tax money to pay for the biggest part of what we're collecting anyway. The fact of the matter is, if we only got 1/10 of that money to come back into the United States by getting rid of the socialist tax code, that would be $1.3 trillion. There's a tax-free stimulus that would go straight into our corporate structure. It would go straight into small businesses, none of it going to port projects. It would truly stimulate our economy. Instead, we have a government that has built this wall that keeps investment money out of the United States, because if they bring it back in, it's going to be taxed. And then they turn around and say, well, because it's so messed up, we need to take our children's money and use it to fix the mess we have made now. Tell me, does that make any sense? Well, we actually had a congressman. I had the honor of talking to a congressman, Steve King from Iowa, about a month ago. And I was talking to him about what do we got to do to get this fair tax moving in Congress? What do we got to do to get people to know about it, to get the entire Republican Party, the entire Democratic Party to support it? Well, he had a lot of reasons, and we went over a lot of things. One thing he said, well, I'm going to do something. I want to run to the sound of the guns. It kind of stuck in my mind that he said that. I'm going to run to the sound of the guns. I will debate anybody who supports the flat tax, which is basically just fixing our tax code with adding some more paper to the 73,000 pages of tax code that we have that nobody on the planet understands. He said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to call a special order on the floor of Congress, and I'm going to get as many of the co-sponsors of this bill to come down and talk with me about it on the floor, and we'll see if we can get something moving. Well, on that same morning that he did this, it didn't take him long. He did it in about a week and a half. He called the special order, and he got it approved. That morning was March 17th. Obama announced that the Republican Party was the party of no. That's all you've got. The Republicans, that's all you've got is no. No this, no that, no this, no that. You don't have any answers. Well, Representative King, along with a congressman from our state, unfortunately it wasn't Marsha Blackburn, she was nowhere to be found. Duncan in the 2nd district was there, and Linder from Georgia and several others. They got together and they presented this thing. They presented an option to where we would not need to raise our taxes, but we would infuse so much money into our economy, jobs would be created, and we would start a natural healing through capitalism instead of socialism. Socialism doesn't work. It never has worked. Has it? Can you name one country anywhere where socialism has improved the way the people live? Well, what I want you to do, I know a lot of y'all are Marsha Blackburn supporters. No! Okay, well, some of y'all might be Marsha Blackburn supporters. Call her office tomorrow and say, tell her what? Okay, he says she's corrupt, but I'm not going to get into all that, but I think we should all petition her. If we all called her office and said, we need the fair tax. We need you to get off the fence. If you're going to support the flat tax like you say, support it. Co-sponsor it. That way I can bring her out in public and I'll debate her. She can lay out what she thinks is correct in the flat tax, which she says that's what she supports and not the fair tax. I'll lay out the fair tax, and we'll let the people decide, and then we need to come up with, okay, do we need to support this person, or do we need to find somebody who will run against her and support it? We're going to have to quit babysitting these congressmen. I don't care if they're Republican or Democrat. We have got to stop this. We are killing our children's future and I'll tell you one thing, you may be throwing things at me in a minute, but I'm a Democrat. Okay, don't throw, please, don't throw. But you hear what the things I'm saying. Even if I'm a Democrat and I can figure it out, how come a Republican can't figure it out? Let's get with it. Y'all pick up your phone and say, Marsha, this Jim Tomasic guy was in Memphis and he said, you don't support the flat tax, you don't support the fair tax, but you support the flat tax, but you won't co-sponsor either one of them. Get off the damn fence. Pardon me. Get off the fence, y'all. Y'all get off the fence. Y'all call. Do something besides say no. Say yes. Yes, we need the fair tax. Well, that's about all I had to say, and I hope y'all actually do pick up your phone. Call Corker and Lamar and call them all. Hey, there's a guy. I've talked to him, but I really think that you are going to have a problem there. Because he is a true blue socialist. I mean, we've gone so far from going past socialism. Red. Well, I thought the Republicans were red. Aren't y'all the red state folks? But anyway, I don't really care whether you're a Democrat or Republican or whatever. I really just want you to do something to preserve our children's future. And the best thing we have right now is the fair tax. Also, I've started with another lady up in Illinois. We're working nationally on promoting fair tax events. If you are a fair tax supporter, I hope you join Fair Tax Nation. It's a group of people where we can organize and do things. I've met more people in Memphis through that website we started a couple of months ago than I have in the past couple of years of promoting fair tax. Again, please pick up, learn about fair tax if you don't know what it is. If you do know what it is, you need to get these legislators on the phone, get their office on the phone and say, we demand fair tax because we need to end socialism. Y'all have a great day.
That wraps up our speakers today. Somebody's lost some keys with an elephant on them, and you're probably going to want to get your license before you head home. I'll be up here at the front stage, and please, one more time, please register if you hadn't already. There's a petition. If you don't want to stand in line for the petition, they've got slips. You can find it either on my website, reformpolitics.com, or there are slips to give you the website. You can sign it online, and it'll still show your signature. Thank you.